Hi guys. Oh my god, the voice. I'm really sorry. Um, if it's hard to hear, I'll do my best. It's a little hard to speak too. If that's any help on this end, it's a struggle. Um, and I'm not sure why. I can sing, pretty much. Uh, sometimes it's hard to project. Um, so I moved to a different room today. I moved upstairs. Um, So it's a little different. I'm looking out the window at this amazing. I'll find a way to switch the camera around at some point. It's all blocked right now, but there's this huge bull pine, and I can see the ocean. And today the wind is just, anyway, it's magnif. And I don't know why. I'm looking right into the camera, and it looks like I'm looking askew. Well, it'll take me, I guess it's because I'm much closer. So if it looks like it's going to take a while to get used to it. And I wanted to say, it occurred to me, wherever you are, welcome home. Welcome home. I had two images this morning. One was, how monkeys or maybe gymnasts swing from one rope to the full extent and then let go and grab the next one and go to the next, monkeys swing through the trees that way. And that inner rim point where you have to make the leap. It's intentional. They're headed in a direction, but they have to find their way vine by vine, step by step. But with the vine by vine, they're swinging, they're fucking flying. Sorry. And they have to just in the moment grab the vine, and right away they're forward movement and on to the next. And sometimes life just really feels like that. I mean, I think it always in a funny, sorry, I'm messing with the incense. In a funny way, it always is that, moment to moment, vine to vine. But we aren't always aware, I think, of how it's like stand-up comedy. It's like improv. You don't really know. You just riff. You're sort of riffing. It's a bit like tarot reading. When I'm talking to you and throwing the cards and just seeing where it goes in the moment. It's not like writing where I can sit down and carefully edit it and plan it out. This isn't that. This is just so there's that element of vine to vine in all of our lives. And the other images, it was weird. It was like, when you're trying to make something fit, to put two ideas together that make sense, or figure out a relationship. What does this relationship need? Or why is this, why am I always ending up in mismatches, or whatever it is? And suddenly the image came to mind of going into that cabinet where you have storage, Tupperware, whatever, and there are lids and there are bottoms. And in fact, some of them are one manufacturer and some of them are another. It's just sort of impossible. I've sat on the floor trying to pair things up, and you can do it eventually, but it takes a long time, and you always end up with these, the bottoms that don't have a top, the tops that don't have a bottom. And I've even taken both bottoms and smushed them together to make a kind of tall, I mean, and it sort of works. But, you know, at what point do you just say, these aren't going to work for that purpose? You know, can I use them to, you know, scoop the bird seed out, or try to repurpose it, or horribly throw it away? Full moon in Sag tonight, Hierophant. A card of orthodoxy, can be a card of rules and regulations that a higher authority, you know, somebody on earth who purports to represent the divine thing, tells you, do this, do that. This is, you know, there's a right way and a wrong way to worship. And those kind of rules can be helpful because you don't have to swing vine to vine. You sort of, it's not impromptu. It's not improv. Not much room for improv in the orthodox approach. And I think we're going to, it can also mean higher power, but let's see. This is not vine to vine. That's all I can, that's how it relates to what we've been talking about. So, what is this this Major Arcana 5 Hierophant? Wow. Tower. This is like, this is blowing up the hierarchy. And probably your higher power, you know, as it expresses in an external something, event, or something that might even seem random, but just higher power that blows up the hierarchy and is kind of replaced by something surprising, something different. Because this is constrictive, and so's this, can be. I don't think I turned off my phone, so I'm a little discombobulated because I'm in a new environment, and I think that, I mean, look, this is where you're not discombobulated. This is where I've always read tarot. This is the familiar structure. Getting blown up. You know, so it's like the setup is different. It's not automatic. You're going to have to sort of do it on the fly. And in fact, Tower is the constricting, can be, the constricting thing. It can also be Epiphany. Hierophant is in higher power. What your higher power would tell you, it would set you free. You know, it's the thing behind the mask, behind the hat, behind the ritual. And that's not to say ritual's nothing, but it informs, it gives form to something formless, unstructured anyway. So two major arcana speaking to something structured being a structure being exploded. So what happens? What's the release? Well, we got the big wads going on. Okay. You know, whatever this orthodoxy was that got exploded, there's this fresh new light, idea, truth. The new thing. The brand new thing. Okay. Under Hierophant, we have Magician. which sort of makes sense. The Orthodox thing says, through me you do it. You know, through these rituals you do it. And I think the Magician is more like, it's the card of number 1 in the Major Arcana. It's like, I do it. I have all the tools. He is a representative of every energy in the tarot on this little table in front of him. It's kind of his altar. And it's got a wand, a sword, a pentacle, and a cup. And the wand, there's one on the table, there's also one in his hand. That's what he uses to kind of bring things in, to manifest anything, because he has all the tools. He, she, they. This is a card of Virgo and Gemini. Hierophant is a card of Taurus. Tower I see is Scorpio. So what's next? What's this Magician manifesting? Apparently a path away from something. Maybe away from the orthodoxy. Because once the Towers happened, you know, you move on. You have to. You can't live there anymore. So this is somebody in search of, and you can see it's a pilgrim on the path toward the Holy Grail. And see the full moon? Lit by the light of the moon. You know, kind of walking into the mystery. And moon energy is Cancerian, the moon card in tarot. Pisces, Cancer. It's a water energy to do with feelings. And here somebody's being guided on a path, being pulled. Full moon energy, where things come to fruition and where it's time to release. It's like the cycle's been completed. It's now full. And it's time to release. Whatever this 8 of Cups, what they were. It's sort of like, to me, it's sort of like the old way. Now you're in search of this Holy Grail cup in the sky, which would make 9 of Cups. There it is. So you're on this path, which, you know, first stop is your happiness. Finding the place where you're fulfilled. You know, in a sense, 8 of Cups on the search for, and 9 of Cups, you got it, wish granted. You know, you can sit down and take your rest. Your path has led you here. You know, to this chair. Cup in hand. And he's smiling. You know, it's a kind of your happy place. I sometimes just almost gag on the cliches, but that's kind of code for having found your way to the thing that satisfies. Because apparently you've healed something. There's a new way. When you come out of this sort of retreat, a time that allows your mind to settle, in comes the new clear thinking mode. You know, wherever this path has led you, it's not only to personal fulfillment, it's to kind of a truth. that you hear, that you understand in the stillness. This could be respite after that, because it is a car of respite, and so is this. This is somebody having walked the path, arrived. And this is sort of almost like now being able to breathe and think straight. And take a breather, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Take a breather. Okay. Something's been healed, allowing for this forward movement in that same water energy as I was referring to the moon. Moon card is not actually on the board, but a lot of cups, which is the same cup energy or water energy. In this deck, it's called the cups. So this is a major arcana, archetypal energy of balance, of forward movement in a kind of dreamscape. This isn't driving your car to the Stop and Shop to whatever. It's drawn by sphinxes, which represented sort of the mystery. This mythological creature, head of a person, body of a lion, a hybrid kind of, and there are two of them, moreover. So it's sort of twice removed from your daily experience. And it is forward movement, but in a landscape that is not three-dimensional. All these sort of multis. This is a hybrid, this is a hybrid. There are two of them. One's standing up, one's lying down. It's a different kind of forward movement. But it's balanced feelings. So in all these cup things we've had so far, you've gotten something right for yourself. And possibly a reconciling with somebody else who's got the same feeling energy that you do. Not identical. And there's something odd to me about how one's sitting and one's standing. One's dark, one's light. One's right, one's left. All these apparent opposites. And yet, there's forward movement. It's like despite the apparent contradictions or opposites, once the feelings are reconciled, acknowledged and reconciled, that their appearances no longer matter. I mean, I'm sort of going flubba-dubba, but this is a new truth and something you're learning about. This is a card of study, of analyzing something, of learning something. It's sword energy, right? It's about knowledge, communication, education, watching somebody. But there's a lesson here. And see, sword in hand, it's sort of like this character, this youth page, is taking up the sword of truth and kind of making it their own. And he's a bit blown away by it. It's an air energy. He's kind of leaning into it, but eyes closed. The wind is, he's facing it. Facing something. And I think it's learning about balancing your emotions, Chariot in order to heal them, but it has to do with thinking about them in a new way. And not hashing it out with somebody, just being in a quiet place. And now we have this other stack of cards, which I think is clarifying this. And this might speak to the monkey mind aspect, I'm thinking. The vine to vine, the improv part of it. Let's see, on the Magician, we have Queen of Wands. Remember I said there's the wand on the table and the wand in the Magician's hand. And look at the size of the wand she has in her hand. It's hers. And Queen of Wands is an energy of that improv, of exactly that. It's like operating on the intuitive, on the spontaneous. You know, this isn't Hierophant energy of doing it the way you're told to. This is somebody who operates on their intuitive energy and is very independent. Nobody's going to tell the Queen of Wands how to live. She's her own life force energy. And she's got the flower in her hand. She's the intuitive, you know, there's her familiar black cat. And she's got the sunflower. She's a sun sign, a fire sign. Aries, Leo, Sag. Doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be feminine either. But it's somebody who's creative and spontaneous and would answer to her higher power hierarchy thing, Hierophant, but wouldn't obey the other guy's rules. She's a rule breaker. She's a rebel, and she looks fierce. I mean, she's holding the sunflower, but she looks like she means business. On 8 of Cups, we have 7 of Pentacles. So this path that the pilgrim is walking, the wanderer, this is sort of almost the opposite energy. It's about something that's rooted and stable, and that you've grown because you've been in one place. It's the forest. It's the, oh my God. Harvest. You know, in something tangible and real that's taken root over time. And it may be something somebody is leaving behind. Because Hierophant is an earth sign. It's that kind of stability. So it might be, you know, there's the stable place where you've over time grown something tangible, and yet you're leaving it behind. Somebody's leaving it behind. There's been a Tower moment, so that's, you know, what was tangible and stable, apparently, because Tower represents something that was inherently unstable, some situation that had become constrictive and, you know, that this formidable foundation somehow was not able to withstand this lightning bolt from above. And everybody gets blown out the windows. Can be an epiphany. Okay. On 9 of Cups, 2 of Swords. A crossroads, a decision, can be a block. And the decision might be, do I invest further or do I go? You're at a crossroads. Somebody is. You know, and this also might be, should I decide to follow that Eight of Cups path to a place of personal happiness? Queen of Wands would do that. She would. So there's a decision about maybe what makes you happy. Hierophant, Ten of Swords. Not that. You know, this is a painful ending. It's wrapping up because there are no more, you know, I mean, this is a really painful Ten of Swords. Not even being stabbed in the back, being stabbed in the front. You know, being able to watch this. It's putting an end to something. And I'm getting almost like an et tu, Brute, you know, Caesar being stabbed again and again by the people he thought were his supporters. It was a coup d'etat. And if you're blowing up the hierarchy, that kind of fits. Because Ten of Swords is a definitive ending. And in a way, so's Tower. I mean, you don't go back to this. You go on to the new thing. And Ten of Swords, here, you know, this is the closing out of the cycle. Here's the beginning. From 10, you go back to 1. You start again. With something new. And it's true. And it may be that this old way of thinking, this old orthodoxy, not only was untrue, it involved a betrayal. It involved a betrayal. And I'm guessing the new thing has to do with choosing to make yourself happy. I mean, that's not a bad place to start because, you know, if you're not, what did I say at the very beginning? Wherever you are, welcome home. This is kind of home. You know, where you come to rest in your favorite chair. It's funny, I wrote a poem this morning about the favorite chair that holds your shape even when you're not sitting in it. It's something like that. And this is like, do you head home? Where you've invested? Do you hit the road? Eight of Cups could be a return home too, could be. Okay, and on Tower we have Sun, which is brilliant. It's sort of like the restrictive place was the dark place. You know, you couldn't get out, nobody could get in, surrounded by a moat, this dark, dark skies, and in comes the lightning. And you know, and it sort of looks dire, but what happens? Out comes the sun, dries up all the rain, that kind of thing. I mean, Tower Sun, that's amazing. And it may be, the epiphany may be, I'm allowed to choose. I'm allowed to choose my own happiness. You know, it's not this. It looks more like this. Wherever you are, welcome home. Sun on Tower. I'm working on a new table, so I don't even quite have room. But and on Ace of Swords, Six of Cups, card of remembrance. Soulmate. In the Cups energy of Eight of Cups, Nine of Cups, Six of Cups. If Nine of Cups is pleasing yourself, allowing yourself your own happiness, this is the exchange of the cup. Somebody you've known a long time, in a kind of recurring cycle, a childhood friend maybe, that you may be drawn to, old love, something you invested in. But there's something about the situation that's going to be, it may be a return, it may be somebody you already know, maybe somebody you've cycled through lives with before, but it's made new. Ten of Swords, Ace of Swords. Soulmate card. Okay, and now we're having our next series, which is this Five of Pentacles, like spent. It's a card of two people who are impoverished. They're outside, it's cold, they're in rags. One guy has one leg. She's supporting him. One is more wounded than the other. And it always interests me that the tracks left behind in the snow don't match up. They aren't what these two people and the and the crutch would leave a different track. So there's something kind of, I don't know what that means. Something is a little off. Beyond the fact that some of the tracks have been covered and they're covering their tracks. I don't really know what that means. He's not only one-legged, he's one-eyed. And I get the feeling she's helping him get home, get inside. Star. A card of healing. A card of getting where you need to be, following the star, following your guide. You're being led home. Somebody's being led home. It's a card of Aquarius. It's sort of like these two wanderers may feel bereft and left out, but there's this kind of angelic energy overseeing them. This is their destination, too. This is the ultimate home. The archetypal home, the place that heals us. Fast forward movement. This is very slow energy. It's Pentacles. It's Five of Pentacles. It could be 5 years of deprivation. And then there's this very powerful healing takes place to do with being guided somewhere. And suddenly it's like, zoom, somebody's taking off in that Queen of Wands energy. Power pony. From incredibly slow progress to this leap forward, inspired, creative leap forward. How'd that happen? Something was closed out, and the creative thing would kind of leap forward if you'd been in a restrictive place for a long time, so restrictive it had become Ten of Swords painful. But there was some kind of expansion that blew you out of that place, and this is like you going. Passionately, in her energy, you, she, they. So it's like she's sort of sending out a blast of energy. Where is Knight of Wands off to? Now that there's been a healing of the hard years. Well, into some kind of fracas. Because Knight of Wands can be a youthful, kind of exuberant, but impulsive energy. And there's something that needs to be worked out. Or it can be he's bursting through this impediment. This might be a lot of people with all their opinions and different purposes, different ideas about how to do it. Wands energy. And Knight of Wands is just like taking his wand in hand and going forward. I think it's that. And it's 2 5s. 5 of Wands, 5 of Pentacles. Is 10. Is Wheel of Fortune, which is forward movement. On that level of, it's a big deal. Bottom of the deck. Page of Wands. And that's on Page of Swords. So it's new. It's a new idea and a new direction. A new direction based on something you've come to understand, perhaps, that Page of Swords energy. You've thought about it, you've studied something, you've learned something, and it may be, this is where I go. It's a direction. What am I passionate about? Let's go to 4 of Swords. Tell us about the respite. Queen of Cups. In that same cup energy that's all over this board. This is the feminine principle. Somebody who is comfortable in their feelings. That's kind of her seat. Remember there was that image of the 9 of Cups guy sitting down? Something like that. And it may be just, this is the person who's found it's okay to make yourself happy, to love who you love. And it may be that they love a water sign. Or they're sort of basking in her love. She's like she's the well. She's water source. And it could be just that somebody has healed their ability to love and be loved. Their feelings are in alignment. One on cheer. Okay, gosh, this is weird. Page of Cups. We've got 3 pages now on the board. This is on Chariot. So this is like a small expression of this incredibly powerful archetypal energy of water. We now have like this offering. It's sort of like this is the ocean, and this is a Dixie cup, a demitasse, a taste, a sample, an invitation. A small thing that is backed up by chariot, Cancer energy, forward movement based on balanced feelings. I like that. And we're getting oh, okay, this is on 5 of Pentacles, please. Knight of Pentacles. Pentacles energy, a slow incoming offer, taken a long time to get here. I mean, seriously, a long time to get here. The guy's bringing a pentacle, which makes it to the 5 of Pentacles situation one more. 6 of Pentacles, that's equal exchange. Equal exchange. Something of value to both parties. And on Star, please. The healing, the guidance. 6 of Swords. Move forward. Again, the Moon. The Moon was in 8 of Cups. Something to do with this moon cycle. So there is movement involved for sure, because here we have it in Cups energy, an advance, love on the move, and here it's in Sword energy. From 5 of Swords, a contention into still waters, stiller waters. And the people in the bow of the boat look very worried. The person poling the boat along with what appears to be an enormous wand, it looks okay. There is, I think, a rescue involved, maybe an emotional rescue. But the Star, you know, that sort of divine guide, is guiding and seeing over this from one side of the shore to the next. You know, the light in the sky, the light in the sky. There's some kind of transition here that's very positive and healing and divinely guided. And somebody's going to blow through an obstacle to get there. After this incredible holdup, this 5 years, this is such a small table I can hardly see what I'm doing, but the 5 years out in the cold. Suddenly there's fast forward movement that's guided. And there may be obstacles, 5 of Wands, in getting there. But you'll get there, in fact. 5 and 5 is 10, Wheel of Fortune. And it will be to a better place. In fact, from being like outside the church, outside the church, You know, there was that blowing up the hierarchy thing outside the church, but guided to kind of the divine place. You know, guided by the star, following the star, following that path. So, I mean, a lot of youthful energy, a lot of resets in terms of feeling energy. Things are being realigned so that Chariot, they're aligned together and there can be forward movement. And there's a lot of inspirational wand energy. Somebody's sort of embodying the highest expression of that kind of inner drive, the intuitive drive. And where will it land you? In the star energy. Where you're supposed to be, in the place of light and happiness. You know, you're supposed to choose what makes you happy, and that leads to the big happy. And happiness for everybody in the situation, that Aquarian energy of being able to look down from above on what's good for everybody. They're saying look for the one more. This is kind of letting the light in. You know, this dark place, boom, lightning strike, new day, where you end up where you're supposed to be, guided by the star, by the light. Light is your friend. You know, you can do this. It's already being manifest. The journey's already begun. 8 of Cups, 6 of Swords. It's like you're on the last leg of the journey, 6 of Swords, because it's pretty fast. You know, you've left one shore, you've pushed off, you're headed toward the other shore, and you can see it from here. Sword energy is about vision. You can see it from here. I think we can, can't we? Almost taste it. Talk to you guys soon.